Hello everybody, this is Evan and Jared. This is an unboxing video as well as a hardware and software install video. So here's the packaging that an NFC kit comes in. This happens to be a full NFC style B kit. Alright, inside you will find all the components of a full NFC kit. First off, you have the USB extender kit. As I mentioned earlier, this happens to be a style B. Beneath that, you should find a 3D printed spacer. Next, we have the front control panel board. There's a latching switch for the power button and a momentary button for the reset, as well as a LED. You'll also notice there's a 3D printed wire harness clip. This helps with the routing of the wires. And here's your NFC reader. So obviously the non-NFC kits will not have that, but the 6-pin wiring harness that you see on it is included. So if you purchase the non-NFC kit, you will need to solder that on yourself. Beneath that, you should find the NFC tag. And here is the main Pi control board itself. So on the top, there's the MOSFET, which powers the fan, as well as 2 connectors, a 4-pin connector for the front control panel board, and a 6-pin connector for the NFC reader. On the bottom, you'll find a 3D printed spacer, as well as a fan connector. Alright, so first thing you would want to do is glue in your front panel control board. We're not going to do that in this video, but I would use either super glue or hot glue. I usually use hot glue. Makes it easy to come back out if you need to for some reason. We're just going to have it sitting in there for now. Alright, next you install the USB extender with the spacer. Line up the hole with the pins coming out the bottom of the board and insert it into the bottom USB ports of the Raspberry Pi. So then you're going to tuck the wire underneath the Pi, and it should fit right in between all of the longer pins underneath the board. And this is going to be a little tricky since we didn't glue in the control panel board, but on yours it should be much easier since you'll glue yours in first. Alright, so now you do a little bit of a twist and the front USB port should plug right in. And there you go. So the next thing I would do is actually plug the 2 harnesses into the main control board. So if you look at how he's doing this, you should see the metal contacts facing up. If you try to put it in the wrong way, it won't go in, but when you insert it, you should see the shininess of the metal contacts on the harness as you're plugging it in. These are fairly delicate connectors, so you want to be gentle with them when you put them in as well as pull them out. And then if you have a fan, I would also install that now. It only goes in one way as well. The fan is not included with the kit. So this needs to plug in the furthest right pins on your Raspberry Pi. This is something you don't want to mess up. Make sure you get this part right. Alright, so that completes the install. Obviously, you know, you probably need some sort of fan mount, and depending on how you want to do the NFC reader, you'd probably be either gluing it or taping it to the bottom of the tray, or if you have the embedded tray that I designed, you can do that. We're gonna set this to the side and use this other one that we have plugged into our monitor already. So we're gonna move on now to the software install. So this is a freshly installed kit. It's got a fresh RetroPie image on the SD card. The software has not been installed yet. All we've done is install the Pi Control kit. So like I said, he's putting the SD card in now that has a fresh RetroPie image on it. And if you didn't have the power plugged in already, as soon as you plug in, it's going to boot up. That's fine. For us, we're going to go ahead and hit the power button to turn this thing on. Now you'll notice that the LED is not on. That's because the Pi Control software has not been installed. So this is just normal RetroPie booting up. And I'm going to let Jared take over now for instructions on how to install the software.
Alright, so you need to go ahead and configure a keyboard. Just basic setup is perfect for now. So you're going to go up, down, left, right, do a start, select, A, B, and then everything else you can just skip. Okay, so we're going to set this up using Wi-Fi. So first thing you need to do is go ahead and get that guy going. So we're going to go into the settings, we're going to go to Wi-Fi. And we're going to connect to our Wi-Fi network. Okay, so we're 192.168.1.26, that's our current IP address. And if you are hooked up with Ethernet or you already have your Wi-Fi set up, then just go to Show IP in the RetroPie settings, and that way you can get your IP address because you're going to need that for the web app. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and install the Pi Control software. So you're going to hit F4. It's going to take you to terminal. And here you're going to type wget https. This URL is actually going to change, so right now this is just testing. Okay, so now we've downloaded our install, Pi Control install zip file, and what we're going to do is we're going to extract that. that directory, and then we're going to install. Depending upon your internet connection speed, this might take a little bit long. Okay, and then it's going to say installation complete, and then you must reboot for changes to take effect. Do you want to reboot now, yes or no? We're going to go ahead and say yes. And now, if we look down at our Pi, you can see that the LED is on. The power button is pressed in. If when you do this install and you don't have your power button pressed in, after you've installed it and you reboot, if it's not pressed in and the light on, it will shut down once it's booted. And there we have it. Now, this is a clean install, so there's nothing on it. Okay, and we do have the web app functionality. So if we go ahead and go to our IP address, it'll pull up our dashboard. Now this is now controlled with password, username, password. So you must enter that information in order to log in. Evan had his saved, so it kind of booted up for us. The default password for now is PyControl, and the default default username is PyControl, and the default password is password. So once you've entered those, you can log in. And it'll take you to the dashboard. So this is the new UI for PyControl. We have the dashboard, we have the games, we have NFC, and then the settings. Now settings, we added a little bit to it. We now have button configuration, which allows you to change how you're going to run your buttons for your Pi. And we also have updates. As we release updates, you'll be able to come over here and check for updates, and you'll be able to automatically download those and install them. Okay, and then we also added a profile page where you can change your username and password for the web app, and then you can change which color scheme you want to use for the web app. So for games, we don't have anything in here yet, so we can go ahead and add a couple. Go ahead and transfer them. From your computer. And there they are. And now, let's say we want to write a game to a tag. Go ahead and put our tag on our NFC. And we can write our game. And now if I hit the power button on the Pi, and then hit the power button again, it'll start up our game. And there we have it from start to finish.
All right, thanks guys.